Hello, hello, hello to you, YouTube. Hello to you, my fellow metalheads. This is the marvelous to Chris Knock, and today I'm going to be talking about some albums. What? What albums, you asked? Well, I'll tell you. So, those albums are from the following bands: Blight, and that is it is a combination of two EPs, actually. The Teachings of Death Reborn, and then we have Agatha Damian. Yeah, I probably pronounced that wrong. Black and the Angel, and then we have Tidfall, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Nucleus. And yeah, I had gotten these here albums from the Marvelous. See, there's a theme here. It's a marvelous thing. From the Marvelous Metalhead Box. And this Marvelous Metalhead Box gave me these 3 CDs, and I have done previous CD reviews on what I got from the Metalhead Box, because I've noticed other YouTubers just kind of say, here's everything I got, okay, bye. I like doing album reviews, so I figured, you know what, I've always wondered, you know, if you get these albums and people are like, oh, I like this band, never heard of it, and then they just gets dropped and they start talking about other stuff, and it's never addressed. So I felt the need to say, hey, when I do these reviews, I'm going to actually talk about the CDs a little bit. So I've decided to rank them from I'm going to start with my least favorite and go to my favorite. That being said, once again, if you've seen my other videos, you know the spiel. That just because it's my least favorite, that does not necessarily mean I disliked it. I'm just ranking them in the order of what I liked the most. So they could all be 10s, but I put them in that order because one is like 9.99 and one was a 10 and the other one was 10.1. You know, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. That's what I'm trying to say. So the first band listed is going to be Tidfall with Nucleus. And all in all, I did like it. You know, it took me a couple of listens to appreciate it, right? So I had actually initially given it a lower score, and then after a few listens, decided to give it a higher score. That's actually the case with another one of the bands I'm going to be talking about from one of their albums. And so, basically, exactly what the internet says: industrial black metal, and that was the first thing that popped into my mind. Is either industrial black metal or blackened industrial, whatever you want to like call it. And that's unique. I've never actually heard of that as a band. You know, I've heard of some black metal bands like Nothrock that kind of use black and grindcore, a little bit of industrial kind of conglomeration of various genres. I've heard of that before, but I've never actually heard of just straight up industrial black metal. And I thought it was cool. I dig it. I'm not a huge industrial fan, and by that I mean I don't really listen to industrial. I don't really know more than like maybe one industrial band on the top of my head. So, not exactly my forte, but I thought it was unique and it's definitely memorable because I don't know any other bands that are just straight up industrial black metal. Sorry about the puppies and all their commotion. The little one is actually a puppy. He's only like 4 months old, so I gotta keep him down here with me because I'm the only one home right now. So, you might hear some playing and stuff happening in the video. Anyway. So, like I said, not super familiar with industrial, but I liked it in this, and it, you know, at first I thought that this was kind of, I don't want to say gimmicky, but it was sort of the only reason why I found them unique or interesting was just because of the industrial, if that makes sense. So, as a black metal band, they were okay. There was nothing that blew me away. There was nothing unique about the sound, except for the industrial parts added in, that made me think they were like unique in any way, shape, or form. Nothing in the vocals or the guitar or the drums or anything that stood out as being different or unique. Except it was just the fact that they had some little keyboard and sound samples and all sorts of funky stuff kind of thrown in there. And that's where the unique thing came from it. So really, as an actual band, I initially thought, you know, as a black metal band, I would just straight up, I would have just labeled them 5 out of 10 on this album. But then, like, yeah, but you know what? The industrial is cool, and it adds something to the music. It's unique. you know, if you're really into industrial, then you should definitely check it out, and you'll probably really like it if you're into industrial and black metal. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'll just bump it to 6 because of them implementing that. It's kind of cool, unique. And then I listened to it a couple more times, and I found a little bit more complexity and uniqueness in the black metal. I enjoyed it a little bit more after giving it a couple shots and like kind of really getting to know the album a bit more. So I decided to bump it up to 6.5. All in all, I liked it, and I'll listen to it from time to time, and it's unique. But it's just like, to me, it's just a, yeah, I do know a black and industrial metal band or something, and cool, and it happens to be this band, and you know, that's about it for me. You know what I mean? It's cool, it's unique, but it's not the regular. Didn't blow me away or anything. Thought it was good. The next one was, I'm probably gonna mispronounce this one again, Agathodamian, with an I in Damien. Agathodamian. I don't really know. Black and the Angel. It's their first album. So it's been out for a decent chunk of time. Yeah, I liked it. It is, as they have it labeled, if you go and look them up on Google, Gothic Symphonic Black Metal. And now the first thing that pops in my mind when someone says that, I'm like, Cradle of Filth, maybe? But I wouldn't quite go that far. Especially on this album. I haven't listened to any other work, so would that comparison be more accurate or less accurate in other albums they've done? I don't know. I have not listened to any of their other albums, but it is on my bucket list because I did actually thoroughly enjoy this album. It's unique, you know. There are other bands that do this sort of style. There are symphonic black metal bands. There's goth rock and crap, and I don't really know. You know, it exists. It's a thing that's sprinkled around there. So it's not completely brand new and revolutionary by any means, but I liked it. It's had a more melodic side. There was a little bit of a part of one of the songs with female vocals that came in and did all pretty, which I liked. Is it for every fan of black metal? No. You know, if you don't like Cradle Filth or Dimmu Borgir or Karakangren, maybe. But if you don't like anything like that, I would say you're not gonna like it. So it's an acquired taste, but I do enjoy that kind of music from time to time, so I digged it, and I'm definitely gonna have to check out more of their music. Did it blow me away? No, but I thought it was cool. I definitely re-listened to it, and it makes me want to look up more of their music. So, all in all, 7 out of 10. It's a solid album. I enjoyed it. I'll listen to it again. And check out more of their music. The next band, my favorite out of all of these, is Blight. Now, I thought this was just the album Death Reborn, and I kind of re-looked at it when I was looking a little bit more information about them online, and it turns out that actually that is an EP, and it looks like it's something like 8 or 9 minutes or something. I'm like, no way, this album's probably at least 30 minutes, you know, something like that, give or take a little bit. I was like, no way it's that short. Look into it a little bit more, and then actually in 2016 they combined 2 of their EPs and put it into one singular formatted form, right? So it's actually the Teachings and Death Reborn combined is what it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, because it seems like it's a full album, and I know there's a handful of tracks on there, and it just doesn't seem that it's an EP. And you know, you do some looking up online, and it's kind of like wishy-washy, but I think that's what it is. And that's my answer that I'm sticking to as of the moment I publish this video. But no, I liked it. You know, I thought it might be blackened death metal or have a pinch of it in there. It's definitely more definitely more black metal, but vocally it has a lot more like gutturals and more lower screams in there. But it's not super low, and the highs aren't super high. But he has a very unique sounding voice, the vocalist. I really don't know how to describe it. I really have no clue how to describe it to you guys. Very interesting, dynamic sound, but it never got super low, and it never got super high like traditional black metal, you know, old school cult black metal, really high pitched, like it's destroying your vocal cord level screaming, and it never really got the really low, creepy sounding of like brutal death metal or slam. It never really got to that level, but it was more focused on the lower end of things and vocally, the growls, which was unique, and it made me think it was black and death metal, but musically it sounded a lot more like black metal. I didn't pick up a whole lot of black or death metal kind of influences or mixes in there. If you look them up, they don't really identify. It doesn't look like from a quick search of Googling them. Now, there are several bands named Blight. This is the one from Canada. There's a Polish one and another one that I found out, but it doesn't seem like they self-identify with black and death metal, but I could see it. And because of the fact that the album's kind of a little hard to place, and there's a very unique sound to it, and vocal quality in particular, it stuck with me. It's a very heavy song, but it's not overly heavy. It's not like a Dark Funeral album or a Marduk album where they're just ramming blast beats and just high-pitched screams down your throat. It's nothing like that level, like raw, like intense black metal. But it's very heavy. It's very heavy. But it's hard to place. And that's why I like it, because it's unique and it can get your head banging. And that's the important things with me in particular. So that's why I put them on the top, because of unique sound. I thought Blight had the most hard to place sound and most unique feel out of all of the bands and out of the albums. So for them, I would put 7.5. Now, at first, the orders were a little off. I was actually going to put Agothodaimion, or whatever. I was going to put them on the top initially, but then kind of changed my mind after listening to these albums several times. And I think after a few listens, this is my set confirmation, and that's part of the reason why it took me longer than it normally does to publish the videos. Been out for like 2 or 3 weeks, but, that's just life right now. A little busy at the moment, so apologize for that. I'm not uploading regularly, but after giving this a good amount of time to really sit and think about, that's what I decided, because it was harder to place than some of the other reviews. Just a quick side note, Chaos Moon, I've listened to them a little bit. That was the shirt that I got in the Metalhead box for last month. So that's the December box, and I enjoyed their music. I think I might have recognized them. It sounded kind of familiar a little bit. But yeah, originally a funeral doom band, and then I started going black metal. So I've only really listened to bits and pieces of a couple albums. I never really picked up on the funeral doom part of it. But maybe I just haven't explored enough. That's probably the case. But nonetheless, what I've heard, I am thoroughly impressed with. And also, that shirt has some killer graphics on it. So all in all, I'm impressed with everything related to the actual music knowledge that I have gained from this box. So all in all, I'd check these bands out if you want something a little non-conventional. If you want black metal with the unique or a little unconventional from just straight up black metal, I would check these bands out. See you later.